All right. Hello and welcome to the course. Welcome to the time management transformation. I'm really glad that you're here and really excited that you've decided to join this course. And so before we get in, I'm just going to give you a few notes here about how to get the most out of your experience and give you a brief introduction. Now I have no way of knowing, obviously, if you're a student that I've spoken with, worked with before in person or online, or if you're just joining us here, this is your first program that you've done with testprepchampions.com. But thank you so much. Again, I really can't thank you enough for being here. And I've put together this material. Really, it's the culmination of many years of studying time management, starting out when I was an undergrad. I did my undergrad at the University of Pittsburgh. That's where I have my first degrees from. And so really, myself as a student trying to figure out how to better manage my time so I could be involved in the clubs I wanted to be involved in, get the grades I wanted to get, and still have a pretty active social life. And so that's where it really started. But since I founded testprepchampions.com in 2016, I've released a lot of content on my blog and in videos and various media, other books and courses to really help students achieve their academic goals, whatever they may be, getting better grades in college or a better standardized test score, whatever it is. I work with all kinds of students from high school to college to adult education students. And so obviously I have no way of knowing exactly what brought you here. Maybe you're a college student and you want to have more fun, you want to enjoy more of the goods of college life, but also get good grades. Or perhaps you're in high school, in which case I commend you for getting a big early start in really getting a good foundation on time management. Or maybe you're an adult education student, you've been out of school for a while, you're looking to pass a test like the GED, and you're having trouble balancing everything. So whatever the case may be, I really hope that you get a lot out of this course. So again, I'm Parker. That's me. You can see me up on the screen there. And I did, like I said, I went to Pitt, and I'm now at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, and I'm doing a post-bac program for dental school. So that's what you need to know about me, basically to get you up to speed here. And so if you ever want to get in touch with me, there's two ways to do it. So really, the first way is the slower way, which is what I posted up on the screen here. And so if you want to get in touch with me, you can send me a direct email, parker@testprepchampions.com, and I'll get in touch with you in usually within the same day. But please, if you get in touch with me by email, please allow up to 3 days for a response. There's a good chance I'll get back to you much faster, but I do ask that if you send me an email at this address, please allow up to 3 days for a response. But now, so since you're in this course, though, I also want to give you a direct line to get in touch with me much sooner. So at the bottom of every video lesson here, you're going to see a drop-down menu. It says something like check in with a progress report. So at the bottom of every video, you'll want to look at that. And so that's really your chance to check in with me at any time. Let me know how the course is going. Let me know if there's a particular lesson that sticks out in your mind as being really valuable to you. You can let me know, and if you have any questions, concerns about a particular lesson or about the course in general, whether it's accessing the material or anything that comes up, really, that's the fastest way to get in touch with me. So please, you can always get in touch with me by my email or my contact form on my website, but it might take a little longer to get back to you. Because those are my higher volume channels, and so please allow up to 3 days. But if you use that special contact form, the check-in with progress report, I'll get back to you probably definitely within the same day, if not within a few hours. So, all right. So with that out of the way, let me introduce the course here. So, how do you manage your time? Well, that's really the central question that we want to answer here in the course. And so obviously, that's what you're here to find out. That's what you want to get the answer to. So, in school and in college, you're always constantly being bombarded by tests and things to memorize, projects and assignments. But, they tell you to learn all this stuff, but they never really teach you anything about time management. And so that's where I come in. And so there's a quote here that I want to read. It's from Dr. David T. Conley. And Conley is a professor at the University of Oregon, and he's the author of a fantastic book, College Knowledge, What It Really Takes for Students to Succeed and What We Can Do to Get Them Ready. And in it, Conley says that while critical thinking and comprehension skills are essential for any college course, it's also important that students have the ability to effectively manage their time. All right, so what Conley is really saying here is that, there's comprehension skills, critical thinking skills, study skills, basically. It's all very essential for college, but, what good is it to have all these other tools if you can't find the time to get your work done, okay? So time management really is a critical issue. And at least 50% of college students report that they don't have enough time to finish their work. And this comes from a nationwide survey that was commissioned by FileMaker Inc. And so I'll link to that too if you want to read more into that for yourself. Another staggering fact is that 60% of college students admit that they've been too stressed out to do their schoolwork. And this comes from research from NYU, New York University. And another staggering fact here is that 41% of the tasks that we write down on our own to-do lists get neglected. And so this comes from a survey done by iDoneThis, which is a project tracking software provider. And so you can read more about that as well. But anyway, the central question of this course: how do we manage our time? Well, there's really two ways that students go about doing it, and neither one is great. So the first is to have no time management system, no strategy whatsoever. And this strategy, well, lack thereof, is to essentially ignore the dilemma of time management and to just kind of wing it, right? So I remember that when I first got to college, I had really no idea how to manage my time. So occasionally I'd make a to-do list or put something important on my calendar, but that was really it. That was the extent of my time management, and I often found myself really racing against the clock to get assignments done by deadlines. Even getting to class on time, I was never really late to class, but I was always the type of person when I started out school that I'd get there right at the last minute. If my class started at 10, I'd plan to get there at 10. And so, there were times when, for whatever reason, I got delayed and I'd be cutting it really close, and it was a lot of stress. And, I often found myself racing against the clock and frequently lost sleep to get everything done. In my freshman year, I had a really rough finals week. I think I got maybe 10 hours of sleep over like a 2 or 3 day stretch. It was pretty bad. I was so busy. I ate nothing but junk food. I would go to 7-Eleven, get, hot dogs, nachos, down energy drinks. And luckily I still got the grades that I wanted, but it really wasn't a good experience, and it really opened my eyes to the fact that, hey, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so you might be thinking something like, what, I do that. Maybe you do things like that. You pull all-nighters, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're doing a lot better than me. Maybe you already made it through freshman year, or you are a freshman in college. But whatever. Realize that my story is not special. It's not an uncommon thing. It might seem like it, but tons of students rely on all-nighters and marathon study sessions with little sleep and poor nutrition in order to get everything that they need to done. And a lot of this is because they just don't realize that there's a better way to do things. And unfortunately, even in the short term, if you don't see it, there's a serious, serious negative consequence for your health and for your body and to your stress levels. And so after my freshman year, I started to get a little bit smarter about what I was doing, and I started keeping up with my workload a lot better. But what I was doing, and I was getting more sleep for the most part, right? I still didn't really have any kind of time management strategy, but I was doing the things like to-do lists, just staying organized, and I wasn't nearly as stressed out, and I was getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep most of the time. But I felt like I was spending almost all my time studying. So have you ever spent Saturday night with your friends, then told yourself that you were going to spend all day Sunday in the library to make up for it, then maybe you sleep in Sunday morning, get up, get some brunch, and then, afternoon you head off to the library, and then you study in the library, you haul in there for basically the whole day, and evening comes around, and you realize that you spent the whole afternoon in the library, but you didn't really get that much accomplished. There was a lot of things that you wanted to get done, and really the stuff that you did get done had little value. And it is really frustrating when you're putting a lot of time in and you just feel like it's just never ending It's a never ending, it's like being on a treadmill, you just keep putting in, you can put in energy, you can run, you can put in as much work and effort, and, you're just never going to go anywhere. You're going to stay in that same spot. You're going to stay on that treadmill. And college really can feel like this. It could feel like a treadmill. It could feel like you're sprinting, racing, doing everything that you can to try to keep up with what's going on. And it's just, sometimes it just doesn't cut it. And it's unfortunate, but so the point I want to make here is that initially my strategy was really no strategy, no time management system at all, which is how most students start out. And then I moved into basically the polar opposite, which was studying all the time, or you can say grinding. And in Dr. Cal Newport's book, How to Be a Straight A Student, which is a phenomenal book, every college student should read this. I don't know why they don't hand it out at freshman orientation. They really should, but anyway, he refers to these types of students, he calls them grinds, and I think it's a really helpful way to put it because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're always on the grind, just grinding, and you get locked into what I call the eat, sleep, study, repeat trap, right? Where it's you wake up, you eat, you study all day, then take a break, eat, study some more, take a break, eat, study some more, sleep, and, go to bed, wake up, and you just keep doing it, and it's just like this never-ending hamster wheel or treadmill, where whichever analogy you like better, where you might be getting the grades that you want, and it's a heck of a lot better than doing nothing, but it's too much, right? And that's the feeling, it's way too much. So there's the polar opposites here, and these are the two ways most students cope with the dilemma of how to manage their time. They either do nothing and they just kind of leave things till the last minute, hope everything gets done, leads to a lot of stress, or they grind it out, right? So they'll haul off in the library every waking hour that they have, and they'll just constantly just try to keep studying, study, in 8 to 10, 12-hour days. Now, if you're a third-year medical student or something like that, you probably, as a matter of fact, you probably do spend that much time studying every day, so I wouldn't discount that. And an undergrad, depending on what your major is, there might be some times when you do have to spend, full days studying, and so I don't discount that. But most of the time, generally speaking, okay, this is excessive. It's overkill. I would say most of the time, it's this time that you're spending grinding it out, it's a waste of time. You're wasting a lot of time when really you could probably be studying about half as much and you'd be getting better grades, or at least the same grades. So again, the point here is that, not having any kind of time management strategy goes two ways, right? So there's the first way you can have no real time management strategy is to just do nothing and leave everything to chance. The other is grinding, the polar opposite of leaving everything till the last minute, just trying to constantly study, constantly carve out more study time. And so really, successful time management is neither of these things. Successful time management means understanding what's most important, getting it done effectively, then having the rest of the time for yourself to relax, go out with friends, hang out, or just chill in and watch Netflix or Hulu, whatever you're into. And managing your time successfully, it's really about working smarter, okay? Not necessarily working harder, right? So everybody works hard, but not everybody works smart. And it's kind of a cliche to say that, work smarter, not harder, but, you really want to do both. You want to work hard and you want to work smart. So as you go through this course, this is going to become more and more clear. And so there's a famous quote, this is another one, talk about cliche. You might have heard this before, but maybe you didn't. But the quote is, don't say you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Da Vinci, Jefferson, and Albert Einstein. So the idea here is that, whether you're a perfect straight A student or a student who is struggling and you're trying to do better, everyone has the same number of hours in the day. So, anyone can get better at time management. We all get the same amount of time. Everyone's dealt the same card, essentially, when it comes to time. So you've just got to learn to maximize your efficiency, and that's why you signed up for this course. And so I really want you to get the results that you signed up for, right? So I really believe that, you can get better. You can double, even triple your productivity. And that might kind of sound like a fantasy. You might think, how can I do that? But you haven't finished the course yet. So don't worry about how you're going to do that until you get through the whole course, right? But I really want you to be able to, if you're a college student, to be able to really enjoy college life, whatever your situation is. I want you to get the most out of this course. Since you're here, you paid money for it, you're going to be here. And so I want to help you achieve what it is that you set out to really do. So let me go through the course objectives here. And so the first one is to give you the tools you need to develop the proper mindset for time management. And this is really big because you have to have the right mindset. And this is another thing, talk about cliches again, it almost sounds cliche to say, oh, success is all about having the right mindset. That's kind of like a buzzword. Mindset is this big buzzword that you hear often as, you got to have the right mindset. Well, the truth is that you do have to have the right mindset, but the right mindset is not necessarily what people might think, and it might not necessarily be what you're thinking it is right now. So there's a couple of videos, we're going to cover this on different ways, but a big part of time management is confidence, and it's believing in yourself, and really having faith that you're going to be able to get everything done. Because when you've got a project that's going to span out over days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks, or big deadlines that you have to meet, it's easy to worry about how are you going to get everything done? How are you going to have enough time? And the truth is that, you probably don't need nearly as much time as you think you need, but there's always going to be more stuff to do, more obligations than, you can reasonably do. There's always, no matter where you're at in life, there's going to be more possibilities for things to do than time that you have, and you've got to accept that, be okay with it. And so we've got to really go about this with the mindset that, number one, you can get better at time management no matter where you think you're at right now. And at number two, that this course is going to work for you. If you do what I tell you to do, or at least even do most of what I tell you to do at least 75%. Okay, ideally, you paid for this course, so do every little thing I tell you to do, do 100%. But I know how people are, if you're not going to do 100%, at least do 75% of what I'm telling you to do here, and you're going to be way ahead of most people, all right? So, if you put a little bit in, you're going to get a little out, but if you put a lot in, you're going to get a lot out. So put in as much as you can here, but this is all going to become more clear again as we go throughout the course. So the next objective is to enable you to master the fundamental skills of time management. And so this is really the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of the course here. So we're going to get into that. And the last objective is to arm you with proven strategies and tactics to better manage your time. So a lot of the stuff in this course comes from research, academic studies that were published in scientific journals and psychology journals. There's a lot of stuff that's came from my direct observation, working with tons of students, talking to tons of students, and my own observation, but I'm going to be giving you strategies and tactics that are proven, right? A lot of them will also be coming from different kinds of books and stuff that, so you can have faith that these strategies are going to work, and I want you to prove them for yourself. I want you to take what you learn and apply it to your life, and I want you to find out for yourself whether it works or not. So don't just take my word for it. Get out there and really put the stuff that you're going to learn into practice and stick with it, have some perseverance, and you're going to find that, it can really change your life. It really can. And so we can divide the course content into 4 different modules. So the first is how to develop the right mindset. You're going to learn about looking at your limiting beliefs, because beliefs are really important, and you've got to have the right beliefs, because if you limit yourself, if you have limiting beliefs, you can really hold yourself back. So you're going to learn about relieving anxiety and self-doubt about your ability to manage time, and clearing the mental blocks that hold you back, because oftentimes we have different scripts that are unconscious to us, right, kind of running our lives. And if you don't learn to overcome these mental blocks, then you're out of luck. All the different time management techniques, they might work for you in the short term, but in the long term, you're not going to get the results until you change the whole mindset. So we're going to work on that. We'll start with that, and then we're going to work on the building blocks of effective time management. And I call the second module the building blocks of effective time management, because there's a system here. You've got to do things in a certain order if you want to manage your time correctly. So it starts with the mindset. Then we're going to go on to things like goals, how to get organized. I'm going to show you, some supplies you can get for really cheap that can help you get organized. And so we're going to work on that. We're going to work on being on time, like getting places early, because if really there's a system here, and if any part of the system is out of whack or is not done right, then your whole time management strategy really might fall apart, right? So you're only as good as the weakest link. So that's why it's so important that every lesson you take seriously and you do the exercises. Now I'm sure you're going to do that, because you didn't sign up for this course just for no reason. You're here because you want to get better at time management. So, but I just want to reemphasize the importance of doing everything, doing the whole course, finishing out all the exercises. And then the third module is going to be the fundamental skills of effective time management. So we start with the building blocks, and we're going to keep building with some fundamental skills. So this is going to be stuff like how to manage your to-do list, how to make decisions about prioritizing your time. We're going to cover the 80-20 principle in time management, which is really important. Also, planning and strategizing and estimating how long it's going to take to get your work done. And so lastly, we're going to look at some more what I would say advanced skills. So how to make your time management even more effective. So we're going to look at focus management, how to develop laser sharp focus so that you can get what you need to done. Because if you can't stay focused, then time management is of little use to you. Because focus management, time management really do go together. You're going to learn tactics for overcoming and avoiding procrastination, right? So if you know how to make the perfect schedule, know how to plan out your day, what good is that if then when the time that you scheduled to do your work comes and you end up procrastinating? So we're going to learn how to nip procrastination in the bud. Also, there's a big list of tactics and strategies for executing tasks, for getting things done, that is going to be covered in a lesson. And lastly, a lesson on finishing what you start. So it might sound obvious, but finishing, there's an art to finishing, to getting things done, right? So if you don't tramp the last mile, right? If you just get something 90% of the way done, what good is that? You got to go 100%. You got to learn to finish things, and it's usually the end of a project, like that last, when you're writing a paper, getting most of the paper done. It's not really that hard. But it's that last, 20, 10, even 5%, really grinding that out. That's the hard part. So you gotta really develop the right mindset and the right strategies to make sure that you finish what you start. Oh, and also there's a lesson on how to be assertive and, be polite, but be firm when you've got to study or you've got something going on. Because it can be hard sometimes when, you've got all these demands on your time, but you've got stuff to do. So we're going to look at that as well. And so you might be wondering how to use the course. Well, all you have to do is watch each lesson, which is simple enough. And so there's summaries below most of the lessons, some of the key points I picked out for you. There's also going to be extra PDF documents with some of the lessons that you can download, and those are all supplementary. I also do encourage you to take your own notes as well. And maybe even get a journal or like a success diary as you go through this to really take your own notes and to do the exercises. And so I've mentioned this before, but the exercises are absolutely crucial. So none of them should really take you that long. The exercises are designed to be done in maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. Some of them are going to be thought experiments to try to really help you shift your mindset, help you get into the right frame of mind to effectively manage your time. Some of them are going to be more involved, like going out and getting organized, getting some organization supplies, finding out what you need. And so some of them will be even things like, planning a month in advance, planning years in advance goals. And that might sound daunting now, but don't worry, it's all going to come together. But you have to do the exercises. Please, please, please do the exercises. They're not for me. You're not doing them for me. I'm not gonna check your work and give you a check mark or an A+ if you do the exercises, okay? The only way I'm going to know if you do the exercises or not is if on the check-in form, so you'll be able to do a progress report after the end of each lesson. And it's optional, you don't have to, but if you want to chime in and let me know how the exercise went, then you're more than welcome to. In fact, I would even encourage it, but you certainly don't have to. But, only you're going to really know if you do the exercises or not. So it's up to you if you do them or not. But, like I said, if you put a little in, you'll get a little out. Put a lot in, and you're going to get a lot out. So make sure you do those exercises. Don't move on to the next video until you do them. They all serve a very serious purpose. There's nothing, I'm not just making you do exercises just to have you waste time, okay? They're exercises designed to be efficient. And if you do all the exercises as you go throughout the course and really stop and do them, okay, you're going to see an improvement. I guarantee you that, okay? You're going to see an improvement in your productivity and in what you're getting done, and just in general, your mindset, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your goals and productivity. So make sure that you do the exercises. Okay, and so lastly, apply what you learned. And this is probably the most important, because what good is it to have all this information if you're just going to let it sit in your brain, right? So obviously, having the information is better than not having it, but you got to apply it. So every day, apply what you learn as you go throughout your day. And you're going to succeed. You're going to get better. And so there's one more thing I want to touch on here, and that's critical thinking and common sense, right? So ideally, every single lesson is going to speak to you and motivate you to get out there and, make a change, okay? But there's going to be parts of the course that I'm going to ask you to do exercises or to try things that might be out of your comfort zone, okay? So know that in order to grow, in order to get better, okay, you're going to have to try some new things, okay? That's just the way it goes. But at the same time, okay, I understand that everyone's different. Everyone's got their own background. So every single lesson might not resonate, with everybody the same way. So you got to use critical thinking and common sense here. Also, so there's no absolute. So I don't want you to just take everything that I say and just ignore it. So don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. But at the same time, I don't want you to take everything that I say as dogma or as, everything I say is just strict and just blindly accept everything that I'm saying, okay? I want you to take everything that I'm saying, think about it, kick it around in your head, take from it what is going to work for you, go out and try it, try some new things, even things that I suggest that you might think, oh, wow, that's probably not going to work, okay? I would suggest that you try it anyway because you don't know until you try it. And you can't just try something one time. Nothing really works the first time. You got to take what you learn, you got to try it multiple times until you're really going to know if it's going to work for you or not. But take this material and, don't just blindly digest it. And at the same time, don't just blow it off. Take it and think about it and try it. Find out what's going to work for you, discard what doesn't, and I want you to really, by the end of this, have a good time management strategy that's going to work for you and help you achieve the goals and to really help you get the most out of this course and achieve what you set up to achieve. All right. And so the only exercise for this lesson here, this is a welcome lesson, is to just let me know, fill out the form below, and just let me know what you're planning to get out of this course. Should just take you a couple minutes. Just let me know a little bit about yourself. Let me know if you're a college student or where you're going to school, whatever you want me to know, whatever you think is important. But definitely let me know what your goals are, what you plan to get out of the course. And this is really important because I want to know, because I want to know, so I want to know how I can best help you. So that's it. Let's get into it here. So if you have any more questions, go ahead, get in touch with me here, either at my email address, or the best way to do it again is to use the form at the bottom of the page. That's the progress report, check-in, drop down. That's the fastest way to get in touch with me. So let's get into it. I'll see you in the first lesson.